Welcome to the bottom of it with your host Josh Moriarty.
Welcome back to the bottom of it, the podcast with me, your host Josh Moriarty. It's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for tuning in. Today's episode is with Chris Taylor from the band Grizzly Bear. He's a producer. He's a badass. He's done work with Jamie Lidell. He did the Dirty Projectors record. He's produced all the Grizzly Bear albums, did the Twin Shadow record. He's a bit of a workhorse. He's always going. And a very, very pleasant chap. Great bass player, great vocalist. We discussed his cookbook that he wrote. He's a motorbike rider. He goes surfing. He does a little bit of everything, and he does it all pretty well. So we start off this podcast talking about his project CANT, just so you know, we're sort of straight into it. So yeah, we're discussing his own band CANT, and then we go on to talk about all sorts of other things, music industry related and life related. So here we go. I hope you enjoy it.
Did you get to do much with your? I hate the word side project. It's such an awful term.
It's that at best. I mean, it's like it's so on the side of everything else that it's just taking forever to happen.
So you're doing another record though?
Yeah. It's pretty far underway actually, and
again, just doing it all yourself.
Well, with my friend John Kirby,
okay.
And then he's playing like keys, and we sort of wrote most all of it together. So. Yeah, it's been cool, and then some people just collaborating, adding things here and there.
Yeah,
but that's tough too because it's like a zero budget operation.
Yeah,
or at least just self-funded. So it's like I could just spend money on this. So I might have to be doing that. There's a drummer that I think I'm going to get to play on it.
It's just hard to find the time as well. If you're doing a million other things.
Yeah.
So what, you've just been...
It's just, I found that it's like, oh, cool, like, side project. So it's just like, well, I'll just do it on the side, right? And it's just, I realized that if I don't actually just cut out like a week where that's what I'm doing,
you never get to do
nothing
anything.
ever happens because I'm in the studio with someone else all day until like I'm burnt. And I have nothing to really give it in the evening or the morning, even if I know that I have the rest of the day to work. So it's just like stuff only happens on it when I like take a week to like work.
Yeah. Is it something you feel you have to do to fulfill, a side of you or anything like that?
Yeah, that's why I want to do it. And I think that just the stuff that I made, it feels unique, and
that record was cool.
It makes me excited to listen to it, the new stuff, and like so I guess for that reason alone, I guess that's why I want to put it out. I like it, It's nice to just have a project that you can... I have no vision
just pump your ideas into it.
Solo star, or, I don't even know if I'll tour it so much even. And it definitely doesn't sell any records to make me any money, that's for damn sure. So it's sort of like, the only reason I have to do it is just some weird sort of just,
Music for music's sake.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to be.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah.
And so you're writing more on the new Grizzly Bear album?
Yep.
That's new for you in that band?
In that band, yeah. I just got to a point where I was just like tired of waiting for the record process to begin.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I have to just start writing songs. Otherwise, this just seems like it will never start. And we've been off for like, a year and a half.
Yeah, you were saying that the other day. It's been
and then like started, and then it's been a year of demoing and sort of like passing things, across the country. So luckily not by horse, but still it's like been really slow,
So where is everybody? There's a couple still in New York, or?
Yeah, Dan lives upstate New York, Chris lives on the end of Long Island, and then Ed lives here in Silver Lake. Right. Yeah, so he and I have also been doing writing trips, which has been cool. I mean, it's like I'm discovering that, like, it is a thing to be like a band split in half geographically. It like really slows stuff down.
Yeah.
You think like, oh, the internet's so cool, and
It's annoying making
but it's
music
not.
over the internet.
It doesn't work the same.
No, I fucking
and it's
hate
just
it.
so slow, and you sort of put something up on the Dropbox, and like maybe someone chips away at it every 2 weeks, but usually it takes about a month.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like what? Like we get like a guitar part or something like every month. It's just not. That's not fast enough.
But there are so many bands now that are operating in that way. Everyone's living all over the world.
Yeah,
That's true. Even with us in Miami Horror,
Yeah,
there's
sure.
only 2 people in LA. I come and go, and I don't know where he lives anymore. He was here, then he lives in Australia sometimes, and or in a camper van. He's floating around.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's all. I guess you just need one person who's sort of pulling everything together, or sort of the driving force.
Yeah. So that's
you?
undoubtedly been me.
Yeah.
I've just been like bothering everyone in this polite and unpressuring way as possible. Just be like, hey guys.
Yeah.
So, should we do this? Like, hey, we a band? And everyone's like, yeah. It's like it never was like a question of like not being a band as much as it was just like, not time yet, or no, maybe not yet.
But you're enjoying being in LA?
I love being in LA.
Yeah, New York's a hectic place. And I imagine it was only getting even more hectic as the years go by.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just being choked by, guys running startup companies and stuff. Just like, just filling the gills of the city, literally. The subway, apparently, I just read an article today, the subway's at just absolute over maximum capacity.
Yeah, right.
There's just actually not enough room with the mass transit system for how many people have flooded the city.
It just became a place where every single person in the world has gone because they think they can fulfill their dreams there, and everyone is there.
Yeah.
And they're all, like we're discussing the other day.
Airbnb made some announcement today that have a guided tour around Williamsburg.
Wow.
What some call Little Berlin, which I've of course never heard this before ever in my life. It's like, what? As if Airbnb is like, hey guys, psst, I don't know if you've heard, but there's this hot little corner of Brooklyn everyone's talking about. It's like, whoa, wow. It's like 7 years too late on that news flash, but so crazy.
You must have seen a lot of change there in that, you were there 10 years? Longer?
Yeah. In New York, I was there for 12 years.
Yikes.
And then, yikes is right. Should get a commemorative pen.
Yeah, they should give you something.
A pen, like a decade guy or something.
Yeah. James Murphy can't just be the king of New York,
Yeah.
You should be allowed to feature in there.
He's
the mayor, He's the new mayor.
He's the mayor. He's the mayor of New York. He'd probably agree. I think he does, actually. We'll see. But, yeah.
Did it just get too hard running the studio or all of those things? You can't.
I didn't really have one, for example. I had all my equipment, but we just move it around, and space is just impossible. But we lucked out, and we had that church situation for 6 years or something like that, which is super solid run, and that was cool. But yeah, that's the cool thing about out here. I have a studio out here, and it's nice, comfy size, and it's just I'm paying less rent.
It seems to be everyone's coming over to LA, aren't they?
For sure. So
there's not going to run out of space anytime soon here, I don't think.
Probably not. They are predicting it, though.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, just with traffic and stuff. Just the idea that can it become a cultural, a bustling cultural place. Let's say there's an art opening at 6 or 7, but traffic is too shitty, so no one goes.
Yeah, right.
So there's that catch-22 where it's just if traffic's so bad, it sort of kind of puts a damper on people getting out, which I guess is kind of true. People in LA don't seem to be too fazed by having to drive; they just do it. But
good radio stations to listen to.
Yeah, better than most cities, I think. Yeah.
And so what you did, Yellow House at the church, was that?
No, that was before the church time.
Right.
We did that We did that up at Ed's house where he grew up in Boston because his mom was out of town for the month of August, so we just took over his house, which was weird.
Is it all done in a month, that album?
A lot of it was done there and then back in our apartment.
It's got a lot of stuff.
But that's it. Yeah, it was pretty. It was a pretty homespun operation if there ever was one. So that was, yeah, I think, unless I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, and then we did recording out in Cape Cod where we would go. We did recording for all 3 of our records out there. Some stuff. Was
that sort of the first proper official thing you'd produced, or had there been other things before?
No, I had done other things. Yeah, I mean, I'd been recording and producing since sort of sophomore year or junior year of college,
right.
So 2003, and then, but you know, graduated 2004, and then I think 2005 I was in Grizzly Bear. So it wasn't. Okay. I'd done some stuff, and I'd done 2 records or so, 3 records by the time I did Yellow House.
Okay.
Yeah.
Production's always something you wanted to do?
I sort of fell into it because I quit. I was just all I thought I was ever going to do was just play jazz.
Really?
A saxophone player, yeah.
So you played saxophone?
Oh yeah. Still play saxophone.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did that whole thing. Got really serious about it, and that's why I went to New York. Mm-hmm. And so I was doing the jazz thing, and then I just really hated the scene and a lot about it. Just lots of nasty.
It's competitive music, which is quite a bizarre thing.
Which is a lame quality to have in music. I think it's one thing to like compete against yourself and try and make something better, or like, you know, sort of like even abstract competition, like, oh, this band, you know, does this, and maybe we'll, you know, we can do that better. Mm-hmm. This is like just direct competition, like just like, you know, 20 kids hanging out in a room and just trying to outdo one another. It's just like, no thanks. And
it can destroy the way you listen to pop music and just fun music as well. You become so obsessed with just that one idea of jazz and the fastest, best, weirdest, craziest.
Right. And there's that whole thing, the kind of jazz snob phenomenon.
I've seen a lot of people burnt out by jazz school and trying that thing, and then they just have to escape it and shake it off for a few years.
That's what happened. Yeah. So I was like, I quit. I sort of actually was lucky enough to sort of meet and hang out with sort of my favorite players in New York, the professional players and stuff, and even them who I just, you know, who are at the top of the food chain in the industry, at that the jazz industry, which is small, but you know. Even them, they seemed just kind of bummed, and it was hard, and they, you know, and you're still just struggling, and I was just like, well, if my idols are having this tough of a time, it's like that stuff doesn't seem to really go away. Like, what could I possibly have to look forward to? So I was just like, very logically, just said, there's no other decision but just to quit. I have to quit, and so I just did, which was pretty scary. Because then I didn't really have any idea what I was going to do with my life so much. Okay. So it
was always saxophone, that was the thing?
Saxophone, and, you know, I played clarinet and flute and stuff, but yeah, all the saxophones.
Were you playing bass at that stage?
No.
That's easy though, eh?
Yeah.
For all the bass players out there.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No. No, I mean, you know, it's pretty hard. It's. I feel like it's only feeling kind of comfortable maybe these days. But, so yeah, I just sort of, but that's actually when I picked up the bass, because I thought I can't really do anything with a saxophone other than play jazz. Like, you know, I'm not going to go and like join a rock band and play saxophone.
Yeah, sure.
Strangely, full circle, it sort of ended up happening where I play saxophone on stage now for some songs, which I would have never, and I don't know, on paper I hate that idea, but it's what happened.
It seems to work.
It's what happened.
You're getting away with it.
So I started playing bass, and like Chris, the drummer in the band, he also dropped out of jazz school, and we both switched.
Yeah, because he's got badass feel, that guy. Yeah. I knew there was something going on.
We were really close friends, and we both went rogue. But we both joined. We both went into the audio engineering department at college, and started studying that because I just didn't know anything about it. And then I found that I really loved it. And he and I also formed like this weird no-wave punk band called Female Jesus. I started playing bass.
Very nice.
And just kind of like, and then was in a noise trio. It was like an improvised sort of noise trio where I was playing horns and pedals. And then trying to shake off the academics of jazz, you know?
Yeah.
And kind of get back into like sound and like what that meant and felt like.
The academics of jazz, yeah, that's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, well, that's
what it becomes.
Pretty much what it becomes for a lot of people. So. Yeah.
I dabbled a bit over the years, but I never got balls deep
into
it, you know. I didn't.
Balls deep.
just enough that I can pull a few scales out when I need to, but rock and roll is always the easier way.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see if I didn't know any jazz and I was, you know, coming at it from maybe a more sort of, you know, rock or whatever music angle to like study a little bit of jazz. That sounds interesting, you know. It's just like learning anything else, you know. But
once you get into it, I feel like you've got to. You sort of have to go the whole way because it starts affecting your playing and everything, and then you start thinking about things theoretically, and it is hard to shake it off. So I sort of had to get quite a lot of it down before I could get away from it at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then I had the other guitarist in the band that I was playing with started learning a few things, and then he started to suck, so we're like, quickly stop as fast as you can. Now you're playing the correct notes and doing weird scale things, and you've lost all your vibe. You're better when you sounded like Kurt Cobain playing a wrong thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop,
dude.
Yeah.
Do you have sort of a production ethic? Is there a way that you approach it with working with bands or with your own stuff? You know, is it about songs first, or you build on the sounds, or you take what they've already done? I'm just interested to know how you...
I wish I could be so picky as that it was always about the songs first, but, I mean, because I think that's kind of the way it should go. Yeah.
You're saying you're trying to do that more with the new Grizzly Bear?
Yeah, with the Grizzly Bear stuff where it's like I have control over that sort of thing, or at least this time, especially since I've been writing a lot. It's just to just sort of first see that the song is good and then like dress it up, you know. But yeah, when I'm working with bands, you know, sometimes they're like, these are my songs and that's it. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's your songs, let's make them better, you know. Yeah. I don't really get to choose. I think it's most important though to focus on a good song first, because the aesthetic thing, you know, that's like kind of like I don't know. I just find it like it's more important if there's something like a really like, you know, there's just enough stuff out there that, you know, should just focus on maybe making a good song before just like the aesthetic. But
do you have a favorite album that you've produced of your own? Is there one that says everything you'd want to production wise, or there's still so much more you want to do?
No. I mean I'm really proud of having done the first Twin Shadow album.
I was listening to that again the other day, because I remember when you gave it to me in Melbourne just before it came out, when you were playing at the Palais or whatever. Yeah. And I listened to it a lot, and it was awesome. And then it sort of, I don't know, it drifted away. I stopped listening to it, and then I just was listening to it not too long ago. It's rad. There's so many good vibes on that thing.
Yeah, it's such a good record. And this other record by this band that was just so insanely short-lived for not some odd reason, called The Morning Benders.
Yeah, I listened to that record a lot as well. That was awesome.
It's a really, really great rock record. They just sort of switched names and changed horses.
What is it now?
Well, they were called Pop Etc., and then I think that maybe now is even finished.
Okay. But that album was great. I really loved
the Morning Benders record. Was awesome. I mean, and then you know, and then I guess my solo record, I got to like have all the fun that I wanted, and I think that I got to say a lot there.
That was different again, point, I think, you know? Because I guess thinking of Ficadimist and that Morning Benders and stuff. Yeah. But then the CANT one was a bit more, had more electronic elements on it as well.
Yeah, just trying that kind of. I mean, I guess
I guess Jamie Lidell kind of had that stuff going on too, didn't
Right, and then the Jamie record that was also pretty cool. That's cool. That's cool stuff too. Yeah, and then of course, I'm super proud of the Grizzly Bear stuff. I mean, those are my favorites. I mean, there isn't really one. They all kind of have different things.
They do all have different things, yeah.
Yeah.
Shields again has got a whole kind of new vibe, different sort of drum sound on a few of the songs and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what the new shit's gonna be like, mate.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty exciting. So we demoed, a lot of stuff. Well, we've demoed enough stuff that we know it's time to go in and begin recording. I think we'll probably write a little bit more even still, but there's 2 handfuls of good stuff I think there to start working on, and we're gonna start recording officially kind of June 1st-ish or something. And I think it should hopefully go pretty quick now that we've written everything, because that's usually kind of, well, Dan, if in the past, Dan will have things pretty written out, and then we'll just kind of go about recording them and building them and stuff, and then Ed is it's just, we're just sort of writing it all together as we kind of go.
Sure.
And now that we kind of have things written, the recording part I think should actually
The fun part.
be the fun part, yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to that sort of, that'll be a different dynamic.
And then back on the road, do it all again.
Yeah, which I'm excited about, because it's just so weird to not have really played a show in 2.5 years or whatever. It's not.
Yeah, I bet.
I've been, since I was doing, playing jazz, and also I was playing in symphony orchestra. It's I've been performing since I was 12, so this is the longest stretch of my entire life of not playing shows. And I don't I'm not a pickup guy that, no one's gonna ask me to play bass in their band, I'm not that good. So it's
I'm sure you could do it, Chris.
Maybe,
you're probably just too busy.
Maybe
that's why they're not asking you.
I think I'm probably maybe too busy. I don't know, but it's I just miss playing music in front of people.
Well, you guys you had a pretty big run there for a while, didn't you? All those probably 3 records.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
Totally.
You did Radiohead. Mm-hmm. That was kind of earlier, not early on, but before the Catalyst.
That was at the end. That was the last. No, that wasn't. That was the begin. That was before recording. Well, kind of during recording Vegetimist.
Vegetimist. There you go.
Yeah.
But I never quite know
that's not. I mean, we don't even really know. It's some Native American word. So.
Okay.
Who are we that some white man made up anyway? So who knows? It's yeah, I remember we started recording. We went out on the road and played some of our new songs, and then went back and re-recorded them. So yeah, we were in the middle of recording that. So that would have been, I don't even remember, 2008 or something.
Those guys friends of yours, Radiohead? Call them on the phone,
That'd be
Tom,
so cool.
Chris.
That'd be so cool. I mean, I have a contact for a couple of them. Tom not. He's a pretty elusive guy.
Seems that way.
He said hello at the beginning of the tour. And I think he kind of waved goodbye at the end.
You'll take that that way. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, that was
I guess they've been doing it for so long as well. They're just kind of in your own world doing your thing.
Yeah, the other guys are very social and friendly, though.
Yeah, okay.
But that was so cool to open.
Well, they're fans as well, right? Well, Johnny Greenwood definitely had that as well.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's kind
so
of
cool. I mean, but to be able to play. And then just pack up really, really fast, and then I don't know, try and find some weed from my sound guy, and try and just get a little bit stoned, and then run out into the audience and watch Radiohead every night. It was just it was literally a childhood dream.
Yeah, of course,
So yeah, it's every night, and then it was just also fun to just pick your seat with the highest level all access pass.
Yes.
So cool. That was also really cool. So.
I guess you must have you've done the rounds of all the gigs, you've done all the festivals and all of those things.
Many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be nice to get back into
doing
it again.
The festival part is, let's just say, maybe not Well, it's fun. Playing the show is
They're,
fun.
they're fun. I do know what you mean. That they are something different. Sometimes you get treated well. Other times you're just another band and amongst all of the other bands.
Yeah.
It's rushed.
It's rushed.
But there can be some real magic at those things as well.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if people weren't filming everything, it'd be just actually probably really fun. But the fact that it's like, of all shows that is filmed, probably that one's filmed. That's the irony. And probably that's like the show with like the most strange, weird things happening.
Yeah, they did that to us at Coachella the other day. I didn't know
I think
they
everyone
were doing it. And they were broadcasting it live on the YouTube thing, and then someone texted me afterwards, sweet show the other day. What the fuck, man? I would have worn my in-ear monitors if I'd known so I could sing better. But instead I was going ho commando rock and roll style, I didn't know it was being on the telly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but no, the playing part of the show is fun. It's just all the like backstage at a festival, you know, just the porta potty element.
Yep.
Yeah, one time the Austin City Limits, I think, or no, it was South by Southwest. We were playing just like a show, so we still had 2 shows though that day. There was something. Or maybe 3 shows or something.
It would have been 3 if it's South by Southwest. Was it 7?
No, we
did 16 shows in 2 days.
We did that thing where we played like, you know, 6 or 7 shows. This wasn't that kind of year exactly, but
fuck that.
But yeah, it was pretty funny because the lighting guy and I, like, we stopped at like the bus stopped at like a gas station after the gig, so at like midnight, and we hadn't eaten dinner, and the lighting guy and I went in and we got like Subway sandwiches. We got the veggie sandwich, which of course is probably harmless, right? It's like the most harmless thing you can get there. And we both, it was so funny. I ate half my sandwich and he ate the whole sandwich. We both woke up with like crazy food poisoning. So it was like, we were like, and the funniest thing was I think I had to like puke for like 3 hours and he was like 6 hours. Like he actually puked exactly double. He ate double the amount of sandwich. Which I found that really funny. But you know, like you're at a festival and it's like porta potty.
Yeah.
And you're food poisoned. I mean, it was just like, and I think our sound guy, he also missed his flight. So it was just like, it was the craziest day. And you know, it's then when you want real bathroom.
Yep. I definitely agree.
Just staring down into that void.
Well, I always need to go
moment, man.
I always need to go to the toilet before I play a lot as well. You know, I always get like nerves and a few things like that. And no matter how beautiful the festival or anything like that, there's still just one dirty fucking shitter in the corner.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Yeah. What do you do when you're not doing music? Do you have another life? Is there anything else? Is this it?
Oh man,
you cook? You've cooked for me before.
I love cooking. Yep, I really like cooking. I wrote a cookbook.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Maybe you mentioned that. You mentioned that.
That came out a year ago, this month, pretty much. And so I guess I was kind of working on that during tour, and then finishing it up after tour was finished while I was living in Berlin. So I was working on that. That was a ton of work. I had no idea what I was getting
You're a hard
myself
worker
into.
though, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I did it, got it done, and it, you know, I think it came out really good, but it was, holy moly, it was just endless. It just wouldn't stop. There was just always something to edit. It was crazy. And then I ride motorcycles.
All right.
A lot. I like doing that a lot.
Oh, because George Twin Shadow's a motorcycle guy as well, isn't he?
He also is, yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys get out on the road together?
We've never ridden together.
Wild hogs.
Well, he didn't have a bike in New York. He only got, I think, yeah. And then he got his Triumph. Or maybe he had it, but it wasn't working or something. Anyway, we did never ride in New York, and then he got a bike out here. Now he rides, and we still haven't actually ridden together. Because as soon as I got here, actually, he had gotten that horrible accident, pretty much.
Oh,
he
really?
hasn't really been able to ride his
told you
motorcycle
when
yet.
my mum said I'm not allowed to ride a motorbike. It's because of that.
Yeah.
You got to be careful, Chris.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't. No, he got into an accident with his tour bus.
Oh, really? It wasn't a motorbike accident?
No,
he should have been on a motorbike. Really?
Yeah, his hand got shattered. He couldn't play guitar. I mean, I think he can play now, but yeah, his right hand just got totally.
There's always a tour bus story going around.
This is a bad accident, man. The bus driver hit like a parked truck at like 60 miles an hour or something.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. yeah, it's pretty rough. That was just a terrible situation. It's good that it wasn't worse. But yeah, no, we'd never really ridden together. But yeah, I'd definitely like to take the opportunity to ride as much as I can. And then I love camping.
Right.
And I'm surfing these days, learning, which is great. I mean, mostly just getting out in the ocean is just
that's the cure for everything.
Thing. Yeah, and especially you're in the ocean at like 7:30 a.m. Like your day's going to be just fine.
I like that.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy how much that does. And so just trying to really take advantage of that element here in LA, even if it means like a 45-hour drive to get there. Mm-hmm. It's totally worth it. So that's been cool. What else?
That's plenty. It's a lot more than I do.
Yeah, and I actually I've been enjoying reading a lot here.
That's definitely on the hobby list.
That's really nice. That sounds really weird, but like in New York, I could never find time to read anything.
Okay.
But like, here in LA, it's just like I like being at my house, so I think that's a lot of it too.
You got a nice place here.
Thank you. But like, it's just like in New York, you kind of like are always kind of running away from your apartment to get out because it's so small or whatever. And in here, I love where I live, and that's really nice. And so just being at home and taking time to read in the morning, and then meditation, yoga, these things I like also help me keep sort of balanced. And
you've been doing the yoga for a while, or the meditation?
Yeah, meditation since I was like 14.
Oh, really?
And then yoga is, for the past 5 years or so.
Yeah. It's got to be keeping you together. Well, I suppose that's how you handle New York for that long.
It takes a lot, man. It takes a lot of maintenance for me for some reason. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.
Hey, that was mine's smoking cigarettes and maybe and then just playing guitar again. That's really great. That's really all it is.
Yeah,
I don't really have much outside of music. I think I got to find something else.
It's good to. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine life without the something else's. Because it's just the music. The music thing can just. I don't know. I would definitely go insane if that's all I did. Yeah. I'm sure of it.
Is there something that drives you with the music? Is it something you have to get out of you all the time, or?
It's like a weird. It is. I mean, I guess there is definitely like I have a really strong competition with myself to just. I want to outdo everything I've ever done every time.
Okay.
Really.
I understand that.
In every department, recording things better, or playing the bass better, or like arranging better, or like writing a song better, or like singing better. It's just like I'm always like I want to be better today than I've been at it before, and so it's and totally an addiction.
It's an addiction.
I mean, yeah, I think
that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say if not, I haven't been like diagnosed, but if there's a kind of a workaholic, I think I have plenty of that in me, and I definitely do, especially lately, just really just focus on just like making sure I take like 2 days off a week or something, because I'll just keep working.
Right.
I'll be like, if I don't take 2 days off a week, I'll get tired. I'll get sort of grumpy. I'll get kind of bitter. I'll just sort of like just stop enjoying whatever project I'm working on. And I guess like if I didn't have those days off, or if they were just softly off, maybe we'll like take these days off, and then it'd be like, something else would come up and be like, oh, I have time for someone else. Like they'd be like, hey, do you have any time? I'd be like, oh, well, I actually do have Sunday off, so I will do that, and I won't even like realize myself doing it.
Does your wife get pissed off?
No, she's cool. She definitely tries to like remind me like, don't. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, you need
but
that.
Yeah, it's like I'll definitely just like book every second of every day, forgetting that like that's just sort of an insane thing to do to yourself. But I'm like, how's it all supposed to get done if I don't? It's like I just bring myself right back to like, why would it be why would I do it any other way? So, Workaholic is a pretty fair term.
From what I've seen of you, yeah. I
can
believe you.
Because I just feel like I have this one friend, Kip from TV on the radio, and we've known each other since before we were really in the bands that we're in, once his band started getting busy and my band, and then come back from tour, and I'd be producing someone's record always in between tours. And I just remember, I feel like every time I've seen him, it's always real spotty. And it's always just how's it going? I'm like, well, I'm just, I'm probably working too much. It's just, and then I realized that I've actually been saying that for the last 10 years to him. And I'm like, okay, that's, it's just the people you check in with, and that's always kind of the thing that's on it's just always rolling around in the back of your mouth. You're just like, oh, I'm just working too much.
Is there an end goal? Does it end? Does it ever end?
I think if it ends, it'll just have to really end, Just quit music or something. Or I don't know. But it's probably won't ever happen. I considered it.
Really?
Yeah, weirdly. Yeah, I think actually these last 2 years I sort of considered it.
Ah, interesting.
And then I was like, no,
I just don't know if you could. I don't know if we can.
Well, I set out to sort of improve myself to an even higher, I really get super hungry when I was 22, 23, 24, 25. You're just it's a special type of.
I guess you've come from that jazz thing of where it's you're going all the time as well, and they are hungry and you are.
Yeah, well, just being a young guy, or a young person, you're just sort of you're excited. You have the world you have to learn about, and explore and stuff. And so I sort of just I was like, well, if I'm gonna keep doing this, I have to definitely learn some new tricks. So that's what I've been working on the past, I guess, year and a half or so too. It's just basically learning all kinds of things I didn't know how to do, or just not taking, just.
So you're just gonna keep going, aren't you?
And then no, but then what's exciting is that I feel like I'm actually operating at a higher level than ever, and so to do things that I always wanted to do. I feel like I can I'm beginning to really do them, and to a level that I'm satisfied with, and of course I want to keep improving that, but for the moment I'm just sort of really psyched to. Again, it's just that learning element. I just really love learning and finding a new way to do it, a better way to do it. It's just that's just endlessly fascinating for me. I find the same thing with cooking. It's I dive super deep into the hobby of it. I've done stages at some really incredible restaurants. Been lucky to be able to do that. Where you sort of get to cook with them and for a couple weeks and learn. And I can't get enough of it. I just want to learn more. I want to learn a better way to do it, And every time I work on that meal, I want to make it better than the last time. So, I don't know. That's the real hit for me,
Mm-hmm.
So.
You're not a big party guy, are you?
Partying's fun and stuff, but I really try and do my best to moderate that, because this takes you off your. Well, it's just life's too short.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just you gotta also relax.
Of course, I'm into that.
Yeah,
I'm a big relaxer.
Yeah, good.
Not so much a party guy. Well, I have been, as you may know. I don't know. But
no, I didn't know that face.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe not. I've always been kind of chilled when I've seen you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you haven't seen me in full swing. Yikes. It's an off season at the moment.
Yeah, good. That's funny.
Yeah. Do you think the other thing I'm interested in is just are we making a difference? What do we offer to the world as musicians with this thing? Is it changing lives? Are we doing good? Are we not doing that much? Does it really matter? Does that even matter anyway?
Yeah, it's almost like I try and not think about that. How much of impact it's having on people. Just because, even just in the last, it just feels like it just gets exponentially just music becomes more and more free. When you thought it couldn't be any more free, it's more free. or something. It's just sort of like expendable. Mm-hmm. Because it's free and there's just all of it available all the time. It's just totally like it's a little piece of candy. You take the wrapper off and you chew on it, and you may not even swallow it, just maybe spit it out. And it's just like cool that that wasn't even 5 cents. I mean, it's just, what is 5 cents? It's nothing. Now it's literally nothing. Yeah. It's just free. So it's just, I mean, even water costs more than that. I don't know. If I think about that too much, I think I'd probably just, I don't know. Well, it definitely can just get you bummed out on the whole thing. Because I don't know how much people are listening these days, really. And it's just too much for even me to keep up with. It's like if you're just following along.
Absolutely.
And I know it's kind of like a real typical like old guy thing to say, isn't it? Jesus.
No, that's.
But like it really is. Like I think even for like young people, I don't care how voracious your appetite is for like new music. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot out there.
I think that's kind of why you have to be a career band and just keep doing good stuff and doing things and be around for 20 years and then you've kind of made an impact. The thing is now there's a new band every 10 minutes and everyone's getting excited about the new band. I don't give a fuck about the new band.
No.
Get back to me when the new band's been done 4 albums and then it's worth paying attention to.
Maybe so, yeah.
Anyone can just put out some hot new single or new thing. Like that's not that hard to do.
Well,
to have a career.
Because it could be like, just lightning striking or whatever.
Exactly.
And so it's like, okay, cool. Like, but like, are you like an artist to really follow and watch and invest in and just sort of like watch them develop, seems to be a bit rarer.
You guys' music's been very solid. You've moved a lot of people, I think.
Oh, thanks, man.
We
try, but I think also we were involved when, 10 years ago when we started,
See, even that's a big difference in the industry.
It's
in
a
that
huge
10
difference.
years, isn't it?
Huge difference. I mean, you could get stuff online, but you had to be pretty clever. I mean, it wasn't just like, just waiting there on the sidewalk, It was like you had to go and like, you had to really like know what you were doing somewhat. I never even learned how to Napster, really. I think I had something like that, and then it just got weird, and I got all these like crappy sounding audio files and things like labeled all weird, and this sort of like beginning of the MP3 time in like 2000.
I remember that.
And I just found it to be a mess, so I just sort of kept buying CDs and records. So I never figured it out, really. I still wouldn't really know. Maybe I would. I don't know. No, I don't even know if I really would. Like if I was, like I actually still like even the Kanye record, which was like on Tidal. I was like, I want to hear this, and I don't have Tidal, and I'm not getting Tidal, and so I was like, maybe I'll look for it online, and I just couldn't be bothered. Even though I'm really interested in hearing it, so it's like now it's on Spotify.
So it wasn't even. It is. Yeah, a month later they put it on everything.
But see, even like look at me of trying to avoid paying for it. So it's like, but it's
you just don't want to give Kanye money.
Kanye, he's fine.
Yeah.
$55 million in debt. I think Kim just paid that off for him or something. She tweeted that she was like.
Of course she did.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, it's okay, honey, because I just got this." I can't remember what it was, but so I guess he's fine now too. So I mean, I don't know. Not to,
You can say whatever you want, Chris. It doesn't matter.
No, I mean. So it's tough. I mean, but I still just buy vinyl. That's where I actually really like to listen to things. I don't spend a lot of time on Spotify. Mm-hmm. The only reason I got a Spotify account in the first place, which was 2 years ago, was because I moved to Berlin for a year and I had no records, and my MP3 collection was pretty like crappy, like because I just would listen to records. And I didn't really work on my MP3 collection, so it's sort of like then I had like kind of nothing to listen to.
I find it a little stifling though when I get Spotify, and it's basically just for me it's saying go, pick something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can listen to any song in the world.
Yeah.
Is possible to me right now, and that
Yeah.
freaks me out. At least when it's just your records or just whatever you own. You go, oh, okay, I'll just put on that one. I only have the choice of 10 or 20 things or 100
Yeah.
things or whatever. But when you've got everything at your fingertips at all times.
Yeah.
And then you can't, when you put something on, I always think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be listening to this. I should be listening to something else. Maybe there's something better I should be listening to right now. And I think that even just the internet in general is creating that sort of anxiety in everyone about everything. You're dating a girl. Maybe she's not the best girl. I could get on the Tinder. I could look for another girl. There was that girl that I met when I was in Paris that time. Oh, let's go look at her on Facebook. She looks like she's having a good time. Fuck, maybe my girlfriend's not pretty enough. But a million things. Like there's so much going on now, and I think it's really messing with people's heads.
Absolutely. I mean, it's inevitable. Of course it would, right? Yeah.
So you got to try and stay away from it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I come to think of it, the most I use Spotify is if I'm like running. Because I don't really like running without listening to music. I'm not like so into running in general, but I do it because I probably should, you know. And but it's like the same records. Like it's pretty much the only records. It'll be like Tame Impala the new one's really great to listen to when you're running.
Tame Impala is just coming up everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, and then the other one that's good, I'll actually listen to the Sound of Silver LCD Sound System record.
That's a good album.
I'll listen to Clark's latest record, which is just amazing. And just it's like pretty much just one of those three. And then everything else I use Spotify for is maybe to like reference a track while I'm like working on music.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
what's that sound like? And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then I just like stop it, you know.
Yeah, I do that when we're in the studio as well.
Something like that. But I don't ever like sit there and like, oh, I have a minute. Like maybe I'll like cue something up on the old Spotify, you know. It doesn't really happen. It just is not very fun to me. Putting on a record has got a lot more joy, you know.
I'm glad that you're supporting that. It's nice.
Yeah, I actually missed my flight in Seattle because I was buying a record in the airport. So there you go. I was sort of because I was just spacing out. I was like, oh, I should know. There's a Sub Pop record store in the Seattle airport.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, whoa, what the heck? And I was like looking around, and I was like, oh, cool. I actually haven't been able to find this record on vinyl. So I got some like old records, you know, that I like from, well, not old, you know, from the 90s or whatever.
Do you get a lot of your inspiration from just other bands, artists, those things, or is it from TV? Is it from nature? Or is it just, do you even know? Or just kind of floats into your brain sometimes?
I don't really know that. Yeah, some bands inspire me. I mean,
I'm sure when you're growing up,
for sure.
That's the thing. It's it does dissipate as you get older. I was talking with
which I don't know if that's good, you know? Like, I think it's actually really good to, like, keep...
Nothing blows you away anymore. I think that's...
Doesn't happen too often.
No.
You know, but there are a couple of people out there that blow me away, though, that's for sure. Kanye, you know, it's like, I would love to hear the new record. I just haven't made a moment to do it.
It's got a log into title, mate.
You know, Kendrick Lamar, Tame Impala, like...
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar was one of those, actually. That blew my mind when I heard that album.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar is truly maybe the most mind-blowing guy out there.
That album's freaky.
It's freaky how good and incredible and just, whoa.
That's a good thing for referencing recently when I've been working in the studio as well. Like, here is the most incredible sounding album.
Right.
Let's try and make our shit sound as good as this.
Right.
With just the sound of the drums, the sound of everything.
Yeah.
It is nice to challenge yourself to try and...
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I think. Like, even though it's like when I'm working in the studio, it's pretty rare, which is kind of every day these days. It's like pretty rare that like I'll like put on a record after that. However, in the morning, if I ever put on a record before the studio, I actually always find that sort of like improves my day. It sort of like warms me up to like how just kind of beautiful music can be to just listen to, and you're like, wow, that's great, you know, like a finished record. And then it, like, when you go in and you have to like work on music,
I think that's...
You kind of listen more for like the music than as opposed to like problem solving, which is sort of, I think, puts things in a better gear.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's definitely probably the reason why we don't get as excited about things anymore, just because you spend so much time
Yeah.
working and creating all this stuff that
Yeah, you're just overexposed to it.
yeah, it starts to drain you, and it's a bit of a job
Yeah.
sometimes. So
Oh, for sure,
it can suck the joy out.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like listening back to a record you've made a year, whatever, you know, after you've left it,
Yeah.
played it, and then
Yeah.
gotten away from it, and then you come back to it and you go, oh yeah, I did a good job on that
Yeah.
one.
That's fun. That's fun. I usually feel like that. But yeah, then you know, I've definitely had the experience with like, wow, like that just isn't really that good. You know, and even though it's not like, and I'm never like hyping, you know, I'm not like hyping myself all the time. Like, oh man, like yeah, this is it. Like this is just gonna change the world, you know. But like I'm like, okay, this is as good as I can absolutely imagine this to be.
With
cool,
my skills,
cool, it's done, you know, and that's when it's
Yeah.
like done, you know, and then it's good to like listen back and see like kind of what really worked and some things that just totally didn't. That's really, really, really productive process and painful, and it sticks with you. Like I totally remember the ones where I'm just like, whoa, that's just.
Can you give me one?
cool.
Can you name anything?
No, I probably shouldn't, because I don't want to like I feel like
Especially if there's someone listening.
If there's someone, yeah, maybe someone,
out.
maybe you know, it's like if they like that, you know, I would hate for them to. It's
Yeah,
cool. That's like part of that behind the scenes stuff that, you know,
Only you think it probably is.
better
well.
not to share. I think it's also important on the same side to not really share too much of the making of the album on a similar token.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's like, I don't know, it's like it's so exciting to imagine. Use your imagination to imagine the scenario or like whatever, and then if you just sort of see it, you're like, oh, it sort of like unromanticizes it. I feel like a lot of the magic is like, where did that come from? How did that possibly come to exist? And when you kind of have some of the answers, it's sort of like, okay, I get it.
That Kendrick Lamar album freaked me out when I was listening to it. Like, how the fuck did this thing happen on some of those songs? Like, I don't know. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I had to turn it off. It was one of those albums that was too much for me that I had to stop it because I know what it's like making music and being in the studio and how much work goes into these things, and then they were just on some other level of ridiculousness.
Yeah, I mean I found that really inspiring too.
It is very inspiring.
That they were just going so hard in like the craziest directions and really like going for it, like truly experimenting in a way that like creating a record that sounds like unlike anything else.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
there's a lot of like Parliament going on, you know, like a lot of like P-Funk references and stuff, that kind of thing. But there's like, other than that, it's pretty like,
it's pretty new,
just its own thing, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, the spirit of Parliament and their like experimentation in the studio, or like, you know, it's like that spirit is definitely a part of the record, more importantly than some of the sort of more obvious like sonic or arrangement references in there. I mean, George Clinton's even on one of the tracks. I mean, it's like pretty.
That's right.
I think it's pretty upfront that was a big influence.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice having those artists and those people around, just for whenever you're getting a little bit complacent or anything, or questioning. I feel like when I'm questioning, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And then someone comes out with something like, "Fuck yeah, that's right. The human spirit is alive.
And there's this
we
other
should
thing
be working this hard."
Where you're young, right? You're just sort of experimenting. You're just trying everything out. You're just like, wow, what's this do? What about this? Or you don't even know how it works, and you end up coming up with something weird and cool. And then like the kind of better you get at making music, or whatever you want to call it, the more you do it, the more steeped you get in it. You know, I find that, you know, I'll just be like, oh, like this is like a really good decision, so I'll like try and do that, or I'll like try and make it a really excellent decision, as opposed to like sort of something unexpected.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like listening to the Kendrick record, I was just like, man, I'm being like too polite. Mm-hmm. I like that's inspiring to just see someone just like go for it, and I'm like, I need to like, you know, shake it up.
That's interesting you say that.
You know, not be so afraid of what might happen if I do something in a weird way. You know? And a band is, I think, then you compound that exact situation times 4 or however many people are in your band.
Yeah.
And that band as a collective ethos then compounds even further into just like, you know, oh, we don't do that here, or you know, that kind of thing. It's like, you know, and so that's also a continual thing you have to kind of just try and push through a bit. You know, it's just like,
well, not everyone's at the same point at the same time in a band, eh? You're always not getting on with one guy, and then 3 years later you're not getting on with the other guy and going great, and then the one guy's going through a divorce, the other one's got a new girlfriend who was real butthurt ages ago, but now he's fine. The dynamic is always changing. So you're never going to be...
That's a lot of it. Yeah, totally.
Hey, I think that'll do it. That wraps it up. Thank you very much.
Cool.
I appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure, man.
Good man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Ah, Chris Taylor. Love that guy. It's always so nice to hang out with. He's got a very warm energy. If you haven't had a chance, you need to check out his cookbook, which is called 20 Dinners. I haven't read it myself. Not much of a whiz in the kitchen, but he has cooked for me once, and it was delicious. So I trust that it will be. Yeah, I trust that he knows what he's doing. Also, check out the Grizzly Bear records. They all sound amazing. There's plenty of Chris Taylor stuff you can find online. I'd recommend listening to the Twin Shadow album Forget that he produced, and also probably my favorite record that I think he's been involved with is an album by Department of Eagles called In Air Park, which is himself and the other members of Grizzly Bear. It's beautiful, so make sure you check that out. Hey, thanks for tuning in again. There's going to be plenty more stuff coming, as I've mentioned before. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Yeah, cheers for listening to the bottom of it. Take care.